Good evening. On behalf of our graduates, I would like to welcome the members of the Avon Board of Education, the Avon Local School District faculty and staff, and the guests of the class of 2016, their parents and guardians, family and friends. I'd like to introduce those individuals seated on the stage. Please stand when I read your name. The Avon Board of Education members, Mrs. Kelly Zarowski, Mr. Kevin Romanchuk, Mr. Art Goforth, Mr. John Wigeman, Vice President, and Mrs. Heather Mahoney, Board President. In addition, the Avon Local School District Administrative Team, Katie Hennis, District Treasurer and CFO, Mrs. Deb Dennis, Director of Student Services, Mr. Mike Elder, Director of Human Resources, Mr. Ben Hodge, Director of Curriculum and Instruction, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Mike Lobb, Mrs. Jill Petiti, the Principal of the Lorain County Joint Vocational School, Mrs. Ann Fox, Assistant Principal of Avon High, Mr. Rob Woods, Assistant Principal, Avon High, Mr. Eric Frombach, Director of Athletics, Dr. Craig Kohler, Avon Middle School Principal, Mr. Brent Betts, Associate Principal, Avon Middle School, Mr. Jason Call, Principal, Avon Heritage, Mrs. Krista Kotecki, Principal of Avon East, and Mrs. Yolanda Little, Principal of Avon's Early Learning Center. Also seated on stage are the AHS guidance counselors who will be presenting our diplomas. Mrs. Renee Argenti Reinker, Mrs. Sherry Peach, and Mrs. Brianne Reinhardt. Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge Mr. Jesse Martin, Director of the Avon High School Orchestra, and our orchestra. Please stand. Orchestra, you continue to impress us. Graduates, commencement is a time of celebration and a rite of passage. You've been preparing for this moment for 13 years, since the time you boarded the big yellow school bus. You didn't get here alone. All of your teachers, kindergarten through 12th grade, have had an instrumental role regarding your presence here today. Would all Avon Local School District faculty and staff present today please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Graduates, your parents and guardians have been a guiding hand in ensuring you're here today. Their support and guidance was a vital necessity to your success. Would all parents and guardians please stand to be recognized by your graduates? Great job, parents. Graduates, when I accepted the role as principal, I was officially in charge of the nest, a job that I'm very proud of. And I have been an Eagle more than half my life, 20 years. Therefore, I feel qualified to say that you, the class of 2016, has been an impressive class. Your accomplishments have been outstanding. So we're going to do a little demonstration, I call it the popcorn game, so that the audience can see just how spectacular you are. So when I mention the following groups, if you've been a part of them, please stand to be recognized. If you have been a member of a non-athletic organization over the last 4 years, any club, please stand. Very nice. You can be seated. If you have participated in over 20 hours of community service, please stand. Thank you for your service. If you are a member of an AHS athletic team or a club sport, please stand. If you are graduating with a 3.5 grade point average and have earned your varsity academic letter, please stand. Very nice. That wasn't easy. Thank you. If over your 4 years in our athletic programs, you have been a member of a winning team that has held the title Conference Champion, please stand. Remain standing if your team or as an individual you qualified for districts. Remain standing. Awesome. Remain standing if you qualified for regionals. And remain standing if you are a state qualifier. If you have been a member of our performing arts programs, such as band, orchestra, choir, drumline, anyone that has received OMEA adjudicated state or national recognition, please stand. There's our artists. If you have been a member of the fall plays, spring musicals, drama club, please stand. And remain standing if you were inducted into the International Thespian Society. That is an accomplishment. If you have been a student at our sister school, the Lorain County Joint Vocational School, a member of the TEE, Teacher Exploratory Program, or a member of Project Lead the Way Engineering Program, please stand. If you have received an artistic award, medal, or recognition, please stand. If you have received recognition or scholarship for being involved in community service, please stand. If you have received an athletic scholarship or signed an athletic intent to play at the college level, please stand. That's a huge number. If you have received an academic scholarship, any type of academic aid towards college, please stand. I love that. Woo-hoo! If you have been a member of PSEO, College Credit Plus, or enrolled in an AP course, meaning that you began college while in high school, please stand. That is also impressive. This one always gets me. If you have joined a member of our nation's armed services, please stand. We thank you. At the sake of making these young men and women get an entire aerobic activity in before they get their diploma, I will draw this exercise to a close by stating what should now be obvious to you. The class of 2016 has been an excellent class. Today, class of 2016, is your day. Thank you for making us Eagle proud. Before we begin with our commencement addresses, I would also like to recognize the top 5% of the graduating class. Please stand and be recognized, but we're going to hold our applause till they're all standing. To the top 15 students: Navi Baskar, Serena Cronin, Dana Furness, Nikki Harani, Alexandria Kosic, Melanie Lander, Jessica Novotny, Michael Nose, Taylor Nowakowski, Catherine Rachetti, Austin Reed, Peter Stamatis, Ben Waters, Josh Willens, and Yiyuan Dorothy Zhao. This is the top 5% of the 2016's graduating class, and from just these 15 students, they have earned $590,000 in scholarships. Congratulations. You may be seated. And the following students have served the class of 2016 as their elected leadership. Please stand. Treasurer Michael Nose, Secretary Kaylee Morton, Vice President Maggie O'Donnell, and President Jake Frombach. We thank you. Our first commencement speaker of the night is Salutatorian Pete Stamatis. Pete, come to the stage. Pete is the son of John and Faye Stamatis. One of the most notable roles Pete has played in Avon High School is that of the Academic Challenge Team President and Vice President. Pete was not only inducted into our National Honor Society, but he has served as the organization chapter treasurer as well. Pete is a member of JSA, Key Club, and Student Council. And due to his AP studies, Pete was named by the College Board an AP Scholar with distinction. One of the most notable and little-known facts about Pete Stamatis, and some of you have heard this, others have not, is that Pete never missed a day of high school. Pete has chosen The Ohio State University as his school of choice. His major will be engineering, with a career goal of being an industrial engineer. We welcome Pete. You want yours or mine?
Good evening, everyone. In June of 1963, President John F. Kennedy said that change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Each one of us will be experiencing changes in the upcoming years, whether they are spent at college, in the workforce, or in the military. If we choose to neglect our past, our future will be spent repeating our previous mistakes. If we choose to dwell on our past, we will, as President Kennedy put it, miss the future. We will only progress when we can learn from our past without holding on to it. Our successes over the past 18 years are due in large part to our parents, who have served as our first teachers, our earliest role models, and our closest allies. To them, we owe a debt that can best be repaid by using the lessons that they have taught us to thrive in these next chapters of our lives. I am incredibly thankful for my loving parents for instilling in me a strong work ethic, a moral compass, and a sense of dogged determination, and for pushing me to excel since the first day of kindergarten. I am sure many of you feel the same way. In fact, some of your parents love you so much that they're pushing you to go to an out-of-state school. In addition to our parents, we owe much of our accomplishments to our teachers. I have had the privilege of knowing some wonderful teachers over the past 13 years, men and women who put more into their jobs than they could ever hope to get out of them. Even though there may not be a direct reward for their dedication, it is this dedication that keeps them in our minds long after we have left their classes. I am very grateful to have met these outstanding people who have been an inspiration to me and who have shown me the difference that a little extra effort makes, whether it is a study session after school, a Saturday morning AP review, or just always being available for questions. Our parents and our education have set us up for success, but success cannot and will not be handed to us. Success is a reward reserved for only those who are willing to work longer and harder than everyone else. There is a high demand for hard work and a low supply of it. Your coworkers may have more degrees than you. They may have more talent, more money, or more experience than you, but they should never have more heart than you. Be the first one there in the mornings and the last one out at night. Even if you don't realize it, someone is taking notice, and somewhere down the line, it will pay off. We have been given a solid foundation, but we must remember that we live in a great country, the greatest the world has ever seen. Ronald Reagan said in 1964 that freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. All of us here have been given tremendous freedom that we cannot comprehend because we have never been without it. Someday, we will be charged with protecting this cornerstone of our republic, and we must ensure that the torch that we hand to our children will be as bright as the one that was handed to us. We are as important to the survival of our country as any other generation before us, and will be as important as any generation that comes after us. The United States of America offers more than any other country. Take full advantage of the countless opportunities you will be afforded. Many of your ancestors made major sacrifices for generations that they would never meet. They left their homes, their families, and their countries so that you could live as you do today. Don't waste their sacrifices. In closing, it has been a pleasure to have been a part of the great class of 2016. I wish all of you courage, success, and happiness in your venture into your newest frontier. Remember, you must determine your future and not let the future determine you. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming Ben Waters, Avon High School's second salutatorian. Ben is the son of Tom and Rhonda Waters. He has been a member of the Leo Club, Key Club, Student Council, and inducted into the Avon chapter of the National Honor Society. Ben was a member of the AHS football team in 9th and 10th grades and has served secretary of our academic challenge team. Ben received recognition from the College Board for his AP studies and was one of 2 representatives to the Avon Lake Rotary International Organization. He has volunteered with the Salvation Army and Cleveland Clinic. He attended a medical mission trip to Honduras this past February. Ben has also selected The Ohio State University as his school of choice with the intention of majoring in chemical engineering. He has been invited into the honors program, and his career's goal is to become a petroleum engineer to help develop the next generation of efficient fuels. We welcome Ben Waters.
Thank you, Pete. Ms. Floor. Good evening, honored guests, teachers, families, and my fellow graduating class of 2016. To be honest, when I was first learned that I was charged with the task of giving this speech to you all, I was filled with apprehension. But then, I realized it couldn't be nearly as difficult as walking across the stage in the shoes many of my female classmates are all wearing today. As I thought about what to write, I was reminded of a quote by Shel Silverstein. If there is a book you want to read, but isn't written yet, write it. All of us here in the class of 2016 have already written the beginning chapters of our book. With the help of our parents, teachers, and families, we have been able to craft our introductions. Although today it may feel like our narrative is nearing completion, the chapters we have written so far are merely a prelude to the rest of our story. Within these first chapters, many important events have given shape to who we are today. The story began as we boarded the school bus for our first day of kindergarten, and invariably our moms cried as the bus pulled away. The chapters unfurled as we worked our way through elementary school from Avon East to Heritage South, where we learned cursive. Do they even teach that anymore? And finally to Heritage North, where as 6th graders we all thought we were big men and women on campus. Boy, did we get knocked down a notch the following year when we realized we were just a bunch of sevies. A brief stay at the top of the heap in 8th grade quickly led us to another demotion as we embarked on the high school chapter as lowly freshmen. We've worked hardest these last 4 years to write the chapters that remain freshest in our minds. These chapters are filled with numerous plot developments, such as our very first homecoming, learning to drive, trying to decipher Shakespeare, coming together as a class at our senior DC trip, and finally, our senior prom. One such important chapter in my high school story, as many of you may know, was my medical mission trip to Honduras with the Salvation Army during my senior year. While there, one of the most memorable parts of my trip was when I got to meet and help care for a young 21-year-old man named Milton. At less than 5 feet tall, Milton was short in stature, but big in heart and happiness. Milton had Down syndrome and carried around a small piece of wood he had carved to look like an iPhone. He would joyfully snap selfies with the medical staff and myself and pretend to save them on his phone. Milton had no shoes and lived in a shack, but had a generous smile that he happily shared with everyone. Milton taught me that the important things in life are not about your possessions, how many followers or likes you get, or how long your Snapchat streak is, but rather, it is about the friends you make, the relationships you forge, the time with the family you cherish, and the appreciation of the events and the people around you. As we move forward to the next chapter of our lives, this is our opportunity to write the story the way we want it to be written, thanks to the preparation Avon High School has given us. Many of us have already chosen the setting for the next chapters of our lives as we leave the nest. While we don't necessarily know the cast of characters that will be in these future chapters, we have the ability to shape the plot. Avon Class of 2016, I wish each and every one of you the best of luck as you write your very own bestseller. Thank you. Cavs in 6.
That's okay. I want the Cavs in 6 too. Please join me in welcoming Navi Bhaskar, the Avon High School Class of 2016 Valedictorian, to the stage. Navi is the son of Gavin and Uma Bhaskar. He has been an active member of our student government for 4 years and earned the deserving title of Student Council President. He is a member of the boys varsity tennis team and recently qualified for districts. Navi has been a member of the Students Against Destructive Decisions, Junior Statesmen of America, the Stocks Club, and the Academic Challenge team. Navi has been named an AP Scholar with distinction from the College Board and holds the title of National Merit Finalist, listing him among the United States' highest acclaimed scholars. Navi will be attending the University of Pittsburgh as a bioengineering major with a career goal of becoming a cardiologist. He has received a full tuition scholarship to the University of Pittsburgh. Ladies and gentlemen, Navi Bhaskar.
Alright. Hey guys. First of all, huge thanks and good job to Pete and Ben. Those were some great speeches. Great way to send off the year. Well, this is it. This is the end of our high school lives. Here we are, sitting like a bunch of nuns in these robes, celebrating the end of all we've known in our lives so far, when just a few days ago, we were taking exams in our classes like any other day of school. This transition from high school is both good and bad. It's good because, for a lot of us, we're finally going off to college and we're getting free from that constant parental control. But it's also bad because, for a lot of us, we're finally going off to college and getting free from that constant parental control. Quite frankly, we don't have the best track records with making good decisions. Pepper spray. Anyways, I know quite a few of you guys are busy putting filters on your cap and gown photos for Instagram, but do try and pay attention because I have some wise words for you guys. Actually, one sec. I think this is Snapchat worthy. Alright. On the count of 3, you guys are all going to smile. 1, 2, 3. And cheer if you want. That's cool too. Alright. Well, anyways, here I am, standing in front of you all, giving this speech. It may appear to be an honor, but much like Ben said, if you had asked me to do this a few years ago, I probably would have broken out into a cold sweat. You see, I used to be very shy, but nowadays I thoroughly enjoy holding everyone's attention. I think this is a perfect example of how high school has changed me, and while you may not see it, it's changed each and every one of you as well. Now, contrary to what some of you may think, High school is about more than just learning an assortment of facts from all of your classes. Sure, I learned that Christopher Columbus was confused and thought that he was actually in India, that geometry is about more than just being able to tell your shapes apart, and that the moon isn't actually made out of cheese. But many of you guys won't use these facts ever again. As an aspiring doctor, I don't exactly think the painting styles that I learned in AP Euro or the essay I wrote in language arts analyzing the Odyssey are things that are going to be on my mind often. But that's not to say that each and every one of these lessons isn't useful. No, I think the true rewards we reaped from all these arduous years of schooling are something much more profound. In my mind, school is but a microcosm of the real world, preparing us on how to act. Each and every seemingly pointless experience, which, yes, there were a lot of, in actuality have prepared us for the life we will experience beyond the walls of Avon High. For example, juggling the various course loads teaches you how to prioritize responsibilities throughout life. You have to be able to decide how much time to invest in each subject, and be able to discern whether you have enough free time to learn something like how to hit the quan, or whether you should really be studying for the math test instead. Our school, like every other, has its cliques. The football jocks at one table, the cheerleaders at the next, the band kids at the third, and yes, the nerds at the fourth. But if you think our school is diverse, just wait until you see all the different sorts of people you'll encounter throughout your life. Everyday interactions with students of all different social circles gives us first-hand experience of this, which is just as important as any intellectual information a class can teach you. Being able to weave your way through the social spiderweb is quite the task, yet that's something you'll have to deal with every day, whether it be experiencing your first Twitter fight, keeping up with the latest TV show trends, or determining whether those skinny jeans do in fact make your butt look fat. And of course, classes and teachers are a huge part of high school, and they are just as important as the rest. Classes can range from exciting to boring and excessively difficult. Teachers can be like paternal figures, or they can act in a way that makes you think of them with horns protruding from the top of their heads. But, needless to say, the rest of your life will be filled with experiences like this, whether it be a boss you disagree with, or an aspect of a job that makes you more tired than counting sheep, so you may as well get used to it now. My point is, all of the aspects about school that we take for granted are in actuality the ones teaching us the biggest lessons. School provided me with the numerous human interactions I needed to be able to get some confidence in myself, and that's the sole reason I'm able to give this speech today without nervously stuttering. I'm sure school has caused all of you guys to develop into the wonderful people that you are as well. Well, most of you. Maybe it showed one of you a hidden talent that you had, or taught another one of you how to approach a girl at a dance. That's why you can't take even the most basic parts of your life for granted. Each and every one of us graduates is sitting here thinking that with high school over, one chapter of our lives is over and the next is starting with college. But honestly, it's less of a distinct transition and more of one continuous process. Learning doesn't start or end with grade school or college. It continues throughout one's life. As graduates, there are many uncertainties yet to come, but another word for uncertainty is opportunity. As long as we learn our lessons from each of these experiences, there isn't a single one of us that won't meet our true potential. I would like to give a huge thanks to our teachers for putting in all of this effort and granting us with the gift of education. We know it's definitely not for the pay. I would also like to thank parents. We are 100% thankful with all the help you've given in navigating us through our lives. Congratulations, class of 2016. We made it. P.S. 47 more years until retirement. I can't wait.
And that is Navi. Okay, seniors. While I don't have a place in the program, you don't get to get away from me without one more moment with Mrs. Buller. So here we go. Lucas Graham came out with a song this year, 7 years, and it tells a tale. And while I love to sing along with the song, the story's a bit sad, and I wish for a better ending. What's catchy about the song is, well, it's just that, it's catchy. Moreover, I think when listeners travel the song, they think of their own lives. It makes them recollect their past, and it makes them think about their future. So, based on Graham's catchy inspiration, 7 years, here are my final thoughts to you as your principal. Once you were 7 years old, and your mom and dad told you to go board the yellow bus and make yourself some friends and learn to read and write. It was a big, big world, and they had big, big dreams, and you were full of trust and excitement. Once you were 10 years old, and you still played with dolls, rode bikes, were in Little League, travel soccer, and you were filled with endless thoughts on where your dreams might take you, or not thinking at all about the future because you didn't need to. Once you were 13 years old, and the world began to get a little bigger. Friends were changing. School was getting harder. You wanted to fit in and make your parents prouder. You had your own ideas. Once you were 16 years old, and new freedoms came with driving. Dating became exciting, and grades were even more demanding. Others had many questions. Were you headed to college? Did you make the team? What classes were you taking? Which Snapchat had you seen? And then you were a senior, and your world became a bit leaner. The ending was before you. You had choices to make, exams to take, colleges to choose, essays to write, practices you couldn't miss, grades you needed to ace, friends to keep, memories to make, all while the clock ticked very fast. And here you are today. One walk across this stage and a ticket to your future. Soon, you will make choices that will allow you, the class of 2016, to finish your song. Make it a proud song, one that generations continue to sing. Class of 2016, let's graduate. Graduates, please stand. Mr. Lobb and members of the Avon Board of Education, the students before us today have completed the graduation requirements of the Avon Local School District, the Lorain County Board of Education, and the Ohio Department of Education. It is my pleasure to present to you the intending graduates of the Avon High School class of 2016.
Thank you, Mrs. Buller. On behalf of the Avon Board of Education and the Ohio Department of Education, I proudly accept the graduating class of 2016. It's going to be hard to follow those speeches. Outstanding work. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the family and friends of our graduates. Thank you very much for being here tonight. Graduates, congratulations. You should be very proud of the hard work you put in to get here this evening, shared by loved ones around you who supported you throughout your time in our school district. Thank them today. They deserve it. I'm one of those lucky people who gets to wake up every day and go to work and enjoy what they do. That doesn't mean that every day is easy, but it does mean that I feel that the work makes an incredible difference and has purpose. And that's my challenge to you as you begin the next chapter of your life. Don't settle. Find something that gives you purpose and do it. Choose a path that is rewarding and that becomes a part of who you are, not just what you do. Over the next several years, you will have experiences and make choices that will shape who you are. But remember this: challenges are what make life interesting. Overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. No matter what you do, always remember the importance of being a good person and treating yourself and others with respect. Success in life is measured several different ways, but nothing makes someone more successful than choosing to be a good person.
We are proud of you. I will miss you. Our very best wishes to each of you as you begin the next chapter of your life. Thank you.
Assisting the Avon Board of Education members with the presentation of diplomas are Mrs. Brianne Reinhardt, Mrs. Sherry Peach, and Mrs. Renee Argenti Reinker, who will read the names. Audience, one of the things that I pride myself most about this school and being an Eagle is our ability to keep our standards high and to keep it classy. The class of 2016 has worked very hard, and they have the right to hear their names be said. So I ask that we hold all applause, hooping and hollering, till the very end, and then you can just let loose. But until then, I request that the audience please hold their cheers. It has been a long tradition that the class president of any graduating class receive their diploma first. However, this year, when speaking with class president Jake Frombach, he agreed that Will Foster could have this distinct honor. Will's goal for today is to receive his diploma on his very own 2 feet. William Fenny Foster III. Jacob Theodore Frombach. Margaret Ann O'Donnell. Kaylee Rose Morton. Michael Alexander Nose. Navi Soro Raskar. Benjamin Andrew Waters. Peter John Stamatis. Melanie Grace Lander. Taylor Elizabeth Nowakowski. Yuan Dorothy Zhao. Alexandria Elizabeth Kosich. Jessica Ann Novotny. Catherine Suzanne Rochetti. Serena Ann Cronin. Nikisha Mansuk Harani. Austin Jarrett Reed. Joshua David Willens. Dana Lynn Furness. Adam Mufid Koresh. Samuel Frank Lacrosse. Connor William Applegate. Raji Kaldan McEnroy. Darren Allen Davis. Anthony Joseph Santora. Kyle Jordan Shermack. Jason Daniel Santora. Udell Holmes III. Eric Richard Shermack. Morrigan Violet Selznick. Tila LaShawn Rush. Corinne Elizabeth May. Olivia Kathleen Sveck. Vivian Nu Thu Nu Yen Tran.
Margaret Ann Kaiser, Atala Sandra Stafford, Katie Ty Truong, Jessica Lynn Jacobet, Megan Elizabeth Hunt, Mia Jennifer Besu, Talia Faye Pizzillo, Hannah Sierra Peters, Talia Liz Ruiz, Crystal Marie Grugin, Anna Grace Zurcher, Sarah Grace Sprecher, Margaret Rose Weaver, Emma Kathleen Long, Tyler Lee Matuzik, Jeremy Michael Haslage, Christopher James Swinney, Brett Joseph Fassett, Andrew Thomas Hamilton, Kyle Allen Matey, Brandon Michael Sullivan, Jonathan Sergio Carcor, Michael Richard Kolodka, Chad Gregory Botson, Carter Christopher Ruddy, Jonathan Connor Beanick, Brian Alexander Lee, Nicholas Michael Mazzola, Nicholas Ryan Stevens, Christopher Aaron Vangelos, John Joseph Conrad, Casey Lawrence Hudson, Nicholas Christopher Toth, Taylor Ann Goslin, Audrey Claire Payne, Tyler Lynn Courtwright, Aaron Ann Lappa Laird, Madison Michael Moore, Shannon Louise Smith, Melissa Renee Coleman, Anne Kathleen Crotty, Alexa Taylor Moore, Julia Autumn Smith, Frances Sloan Myers, Sage Margaret Warwick, Madeline Kate Donat, Morgan Catherine Wise, Amanda Christine Temesis, Natalie Ann Molly, Kimberly Ann Siegel, Taylor Elizabeth Mitchell, Kimberly Petrillo, Jake Anthony Hendricks, Max Elliott Janos, Brian Thomas Lynch, Vincent Dominic Gargaro, Dominic Joseph Massa, Donald Joseph O'Brien, Tristan Craig Overy, Dennis Michael Mader, Luke Nikolai Opria,
Adam Faed Abu Khalil, Tyler David Lutz, Alexander Charles Wilford, Tyler Stephen Minsloff, Brian Christopher Fielding, Kenneth Norman Mills, Kyle Martin Urig, Antoine Lee Gross. Joshua Craig Boutre. Kyle Daniel Herman. Tony Marie Bernard. Genevieve Marie Cosell. Alexandra Taylor Bjorn. Cassandra Marie Horton. Leah Marie Yeagley. Lauren Angelina Orlando. Teresa Ann Smurs. Melissa Ann Morales. Deshate Maylin Robinson. Keely Ann Watch. Abigail Joyce Dahl. Treasure Charnay Jenkins. Alyssa Christine Duzos. Angelica Isabel Utrilla. Erin Nicole Kahn. Alexandra Nicole Sauter. Rebecca Anna Ortiz. Rachel Celeste Ortiz. Jessica Taylor Howard. Maxwell Reed Starr. Kenneth Donald Sipler IV. Michael Bradfield Racevic. Casey James Dewey. Kyle Zachary Shuley. James Anthony Johnson II. Austin Aloysius Nagel. Jacob Jeffrey Socha. Jacob George Sedlak. Austin Chase Seitz. Jarrett Stefan Choate. Brendan David Wagner. Eric Joshua Mattress. Tristan James Isham. Austin Kenneth Lewis. Philip Yarek Nievjadovsky. Francis Joseph Rizzo. Noah James Allison. Aaron Mitchell Dufala. Carolyn Ann Zetz. Mackenzie Catherine Hannison. Caitlin May Trifoletti. Caitlin Elizabeth Cooper. Claudia Veronica Wozniak. Rachel Marie Rodicus. Ashley Diane Schooley. Madison Hope Nacon. Dina Roddy Al-Kayat. Madison Lynn Carocchio. Sarah Michelle Barron. Rachel Allison Stark. Brianna Nicole Zatt. Alyssa Susan Ramsey. Haley Noel Acosta. Rebecca Ann Olak. Isabel Marie Cordell. Tiffany Amber Alicia Friedrich. Paige Rhiannon Snyder. Michael Richard Stofier. Oliver Storm Berger. William Keegan Alexander. Kyle Lawrence Wardrobe. Benjamin Joseph Duncan. Vincent David Bodner. Parker James Reynolds. Yusuf Rafiq Kayat. Cameron Andre Bradford Hodge. Michael David Lahody. William Russell Heilman. Jacob Michael Klotz. Christian Michael Alexander. Ryan James Holt. Owen Michael Kelly. Diamante Dante Eric Thornton. Ryan David Singh. Stephen Jacob Sopko. Matthew William Roney. Cassandra Nicole Wise. Caitlin Elaine Cassidy. Jillian Lynn Smith. Julia Christine Kaler. Abigail Elizabeth Thomas. Taylor Madison Bruce. Alyssa Christine Heidkamp. Alexis Nicole Dill. Molly Christine Barish. Casey Rita Bowers. Catherine Danielle Berkheimer. Selena Christine Rios. Aspen Jewel Handy. Gabriela Marie Amato. Olivia Manon Kula. Erica Lynn Henline. Alexandra Michelle Enders. Shannon Rose Kane. Victoria Ray Zarek. Kyle James Longridge. Joseph Anthony Valenti II. Blake William Schwartz. Michael Thomas Belts. Joseph Michael Getz. Matthew James Morahan. Colin Thomas Purcell. Dominic Alexander Bolin. Thomas Scott Paolani. Edward Nicholas Chambers. Mason Reed Gullett. Dipanshu Singh. Andrew Joseph Resch. Jack Bradley Beatty. Hunter James Polinsky. Nathaniel Andrew Ternovsky. Jose Antonio Cedino. Andrew Richard Golick. Sarah Elizabeth Sartorius. Emily Christine Robertson. Claire Elizabeth Bettinger. Sonia Elizabeth Bell. Allegra Gail Febo. Elena Marie Gemellis. Jocelyn Marie Diaz. Jacqueline Mary Herner. Monica Jean Candico. Julia Madeline Stowe. Catherine Lynn Kelly. Lauren Elizabeth Szymanski. Amy Marie Voracek. Madeline Mercedes Moreno. Emily Catherine Weidig. Caitlin Lauret Starwalt. Hannah Victoria Samison. Jillian Lee Salas. Donna Nicole Toth. Corey Joseph Mudrich II. Jared William Kitnoya. Joseph Anderson Yanaska. Christopher Stewart Knapp. Aaron James Mann. Alexander Douglas Rounds. Caleb Diaz. Tyler Andrew Rundell. Mitchell Renner Trissat. Austin Julius Ritz. Alexander William Wimco. Nicholas Andrew Getsay. Adam Tyler Majorsack. Jonathan Chumran Press. Stephen Maxim Mayer. Jack Raymond Gauthier. Joshua Francis Brown. Chad Allen Edward. Chad Edward Allen. Madeline Christine Fulop. Rebecca Elizabeth Lando. Jenna Danielle Catanza. Marissa Lynn DeVoe. Emily Rose McGann. Sarah Nicole Warnican. Nicole Elizabeth Bell. Samantha Nicole Porter. Kristen Marie Darrow. Justine Renee Jones. Claire Rose Bickley. Emma Rose Delaney. Cassandra Lynn Glick. Kaylin Ashley Mathis. Amber Nicole Mallet. Anna Elena Schatzschneider. Michaela Hall Pierce. Emma Claire Freitas Ostrowski. Benjamin Sutar Chariki. Derek Matthew Barron. Ryan Jacob McRow. Jeffrey Emery Laraway. Justin Elliott Trevette. Michael Richard Vargo. Julian Matthew Hildum. Samuel Timothy Myers. Jeffrey Charles Dixon. Would the director of the Avon High School choirs, Mr. Emilio Harufe, along with the senior members of the choir, please join me on stage. Guests, if I can draw your attention to our program. The class of 2016 is inviting you, our honored guests, to sing our school's alma mater with us by invitation. If you look to the back of your program, the words of our alma mater can be found. Please stand. Graduates, I want to hear you. This is it. Last chance. Make us proud.
Today,
And without a mic. Yay! Okay, there we go. All right, unlike last year's class, who came across the stage and handed me a marble with each graduate, I decided that we would keep this year's graduating class a little busy. So if you didn't notice, they were busy down here with Mr. Woods. And this was the idea of the class officers. They decided that they would leave their lasting impression by each of them stringing a rubber band across our Avon A, forever being a part of Avon. So this is what they produced, and we will frame it and have it in our halls. Thank you. Very nice. Okay, Jake Frombach. Would Jake Frombach, president of the senior class, please join me on stage for the changing of the tassels ceremony? And here we go. And it's official. Our ceremony has come to a conclusion. Please stand and remain standing for the recessional.